Have you
This IgG, this one.
written the different types of antibodies?
Yes, mom.
Okay, like their percentage and the function and everything, right? That is what you've written.
Yes, mom.
Okay. So today we're going to talk about a thing that is called as the types of immunity. Okay, now see, immunity, depending upon how a person has received it, are of two types: active immunity and passive immunity. Now, like basically, when you talk about acquired immunity is the one that is, you can say, that is received after the person is like born, right? It is with the exposure to the pathogen, exposure to the antigen, then only a person develops the acquired immunity. Now, further, remember that this acquired immunity only is of two types: active and passive. Further, active and passive could be natural or artificial. Now, let us see. The first one is active immunity. Now, whenever a host gets exposed to any sort of pathogen or any sort of antigen, so against that, normally we have seen that as that thing is happening, at that point of time, the you can say the host is like the host body is going to prepare antibodies against the pathogen, right? So these pathogen, they can be like living or dead. And basically, if we talk about the pathogens, you can also call them as the antigens, because it is against the antigens that the antibodies are synthesized. So this type of immunity wherein then and there antibodies are being synthesized, we call it as active immunity. Okay. Now, the active immunity is slow. Why slow? Because you're waiting for the infection, like you can say pathogen or any sort of antigen to come into the body, and then you're waiting for your body to react to it and understand what is happening and then make the antibodies, right? So this type of immunity, that is active immunity, it is going to be slow, and further it is of two types. Active immunity could be natural active immunity or artificial active immunity. Now, natural is when, as soon as a person gets a natural infection, like you went somewhere and you got the virus or the bacteria in your body naturally, and then your body is going to react and make the antibodies for it. So this type of immunity is called as natural active immunity. Clear? Natural meaning that your body is doing on its own. It doesn't require the help or, externally nothing ready-made is given to the body. And that is like how basically your body is reacting to the antigen, reacting to the pathogen, and then the antibodies are being synthesized. So this type of immunity under the active immunity is said to be natural active immunity. Natural meaning that you are like the body is making, the immune system is working for it, but it is your active immunity, like immediately actively at that point of time the body's immune responses are awakened. The second type of active immunity is artificial active immunity. Now this is the one which is provided by the vaccines. Okay, the one immunity that is provided by the vaccination or the vaccine is what we call as artificial active immunity. Now, how many of you know the concept of vaccine? Like what happens when a person gets a vaccination done? Who knows it? Anyone who knows it? No one knows it. Hmm? Students, am I audible to you?
Yes, mom.
Tell me. Do you
Ma'am,
people
can
know?
you repeat the question?
The question is, do you people know what is the concept behind the vaccination? Like what happens during vaccination?
It gives resistance, like it builds antibodies so that they can fight with.
See, when we talk about the particular vaccination, so in that, antibodies are not given. Okay. In that, what happens is that, for example, there is any vaccine against any kind of disease. So in that vaccination, what's going to happen is that the weakened form of the pathogen, and or you can say the killed form of the pathogen, or some protein part of the pathogen is given in our body. So basically, you might have noticed that when you get vaccination against some disease, we get fever for one day, we get sick for one day. Isn't it, students? Have you noticed that? Like all of you might have, like gotten the vaccination for COVID. So you might have felt that for one day you were sick. You had fever and stuff. Why? Because when we talk about the vaccination, they're giving us with the this thing, what do you say, pathogen parts. Either the pathogen killed pathogen is given or the weakened pathogen is given, against which our body is ready to prepare the antibodies. So it's like at that point of time, the body did not encounter with the pathogen really in real life, right? That artificially you are given the pathogen so that your body can make antibodies against it and keep it stored. Now when the person will really get in contact with the pathogen as to like it causing disease, then those ready-made antibodies will already be in the blood, and then the person will not get the effect of the disease. Are you getting it? So that is how vaccination works. So the kind of immunity that is provided with the vaccinations, like your body makes the antibodies, that's true, but it's much before the actual infection has been caused. Infection has been not caused, and then also your antibodies are being made. So it's like ready-made, right? It's ready for when the infection will actually occur. So this type is called as artificial active immunity. So active immunity is clear to you people? Any doubts in the active immunity? No doubt. Shall I move
No,
forward?
ma'am.
All right. Now, after the active immunity comes the passive immunity. Now, in this case, the body will not actively synthesize something or make something. Here, the body will be given some sort of the help with something. Clear? So, that is what we call as the active immunity. Just one second. Sorry, the passive immunity. See, so basically, in the passive immunity, ready-made antibodies are already in the body, okay, or given to the body so that it could be protected against any kind of pathogen or the real antigen. So passive immunity, do you see the difference? How active immunity, it was readily being synthesized at that point of time. But in passive immunity, antibodies are directly given to protect our body. So it's like ready-made, pre-formed antibodies again. So natural passive immunity is when the best example is the immunoglobulin A, that is IgA antibody that is given to the child as the initial, like during the initial days of lactation. So we call it as the yellowish fluid colostrum, right? So here IgA is an antibody and it is directly given to the kid, to the baby, right? And now the baby is having IgA, which is ready to fight non-specifically the diseases. Apart from that, you people also know that IgG is the kind of antibody that the fetus receives via placenta, isn't it? So these types is like ready-made antibodies, like the baby or the kid is not working for it, right? They are, you can say, given the ready-made antibodies that if, let's just say, any kind of pathogen would come to them, they will be ready with certain antibodies. Obviously, it is non-specific, but still. So that is the case of natural passive immunity because it is not actively being synthesized. Other than that, it's coming from the like mother, right? It's not something that is created artificially outside. Then the next one is the one that is artificial passive immunity. Now, artificial passive immunity is the one wherein pre-formed antibodies that are formed in, companies and industries, those are directly injected into the body. The best example is anti-tetanus serum. Now, you people might have noticed, like if you ever get a cut or wounded, or you were doing something and you got cut. Now, if the cut is deep, obviously, then we go to the doctor. The doctor also advises us to take anti-tetanus, or they advise us to take tetanus injection. Why? Because there is an open space, right? The wound is open, maybe the like Mycobacterium tetani, or Clostridium tetani, all of that can come into the body and cause tetanus. So as a, you can say, precautionary measure or preventative measure, the tetanus shots are given to anyone that has a cut or some sort of wound or like that. So why? So that if, let's just say, those bacteria would come to cause the tetanus, the person will already be having the ready-made antibodies. Now, since this is done artificially, that is why we're calling it as artificial passive immunity. Also, like when a snake bites a person, anti-venom is prescribed to that person. They do not wait for our body to naturally synthesize the antibodies to fight. No. Directly it's given, so that is also artificial passive immunity. So active and passive immunities are clear to you all, students? Clear yet or no? Speak. You people are able to hear me though? Acknowledge me.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what about you, Aisha? Are you able to hear me? No. All right, after this, we come on to the concept of vaccination and immunization. Now, see, vaccination is the one that I told you, wherein the inactivated, weakened pathogen are introduced into the body. Now, they are antigens, and we know that against antigens, antibodies are made, right? So, once the body gets introduced to the pathogen, now the body is already making the antibodies. And now when the real pathogens will come, then the body will always have the antibodies ready-made. So that is your vaccination. That's the whole entire concept of vaccination. Now see, vaccinations or vaccines, they are of different types. Okay, depending upon how do they perform the whole entire, you can say, process, the vaccination, they are of different types. Depending upon what kind of preparation is done for the vaccination is of various types. See. Are you people able to see this screen? See, vaccination, what is the, like you can say, principle of working of the vaccination? It's the memory of the immune system. Why memory? Because like the immune system has that memory of every encounter that it has with some sort of pathogen. Now the vaccination, these are of different types. First generation, second generation, and third generation. Now the first generation vaccines are those wherein the whole entire organism that is killed or that is weakened when that is given. So that kind of a vaccination type is the first generation vaccine. Examples are cholera, typhoid, wherein the whole entire pathogen, meaning the whole bacteria, is given, which is either killed or weakened. Second generation vaccination are those in which the pathogenic protein of that particular pathogen is introduced into the body. Pathogenic protein, the thing that causes the disease by that particular bacteria or any kind of, you can say, organism. So the protein part, which is pathogenic, that is given to the patient. So that is your second generation vaccine. Example is tetanus vaccine. And then the last one is the third generation vaccination. This is the one wherein the genetic material of the organism is given into our body. So DNA vaccines are the examples for it. DNA is a genetic material. All of you know that. So when DNA is given, then that is your third generation vaccination. The example is hepatitis B. This much is clear to everyone, the vaccination. Now let us talk about different disorders of our immune system. So there are two major disorders that we have to study. That is allergy and autoimmunity. First one we're going to see allergy. Now, allergy is the kind of you can say disease of the immune system wherein a person's immune system becomes hypersensitive. Hyper means a lot, right? Normally our immune systems are sensitive as it is. But when we talk about allergy, the person's immune system becomes excessively sensitive to some things, not all of the things, to some foreign substances. And just like how pathogen causes diseases, the things or the foreign particles that cause the allergy, they are called as allergens. Now, allergens could be variety of types. It could be dust, it could be mite, it could be any kind of food item like peanuts. Many people have allergy of peanuts. They have allergy of avocado. Different, like many people have, like they are allergic to pomegranate seeds, then pollen, and the heat, cold, sunlight also. So all of that, these are the things that cause the allergic reaction. We call them as the allergens. Okay. Now what they do is that as soon as the person that has an, you can say that has a hypersensitive immune system, as soon as they get introduced to these allergens, their immune system becomes so active that they start releasing IgE as response. Now, when a person has IgE related things secreted in a body or immunoglobulin E is secreted in the body, that is how an allergic reaction is triggered in the body. And it is a very exaggerated response of the immune system. You might have seen, have you people like met anyone that is allergic to something? No, allergies are like they could be mild also, they could be very severe also. And many a times what happened because of this, you can say the release of the antibodies in the body, that is IgE, the histamine is released. During that, what happens? Histamine, it increases the heartbeat. And if a person has some sort of, you can say, food allergy, the person's throat starts closing up, the windpipe starts constricting. All of these things happen, and a person might have, like you can say, difficulty in breathing. Their face may become red. They'll have hives on their body, rashes, redness, itching. All of these are like the exaggerated response of our immune system. So that is done by IgE. So whenever it is the case of allergy, IgE is the one that comes into play. Now, types of allergy. Allergy could be like chronic and it could be acute. Acute and chronic. What is the meaning of acute? Acute means instant. Okay, like it happens instantly and then it is gone. So instantly and temporary. Okay, for a short period of time. Whereas when we talk about chronic, so it is for a long period of time. Okay, so when we talk about the allergy, so hay fever, you might have seen that when it is springtime, or those times when there are a lot of flowers, like spring only, yeah. So in that case, many people are allergic to the pollen, so they'll start sneezing by the sight of the flower also. They'll start sneezing, their eyes will become watery, but that's only for a time period, that is in the springtime, when there are like a lot of blooms and stuff. But when you talk about the next one, that is asthma, you people have studied already that asthma is the disease wherein the respiratory tract is affected. And it is an allergic disorder, which is chronic in nature. Chronic meaning that if a person has asthma, the person has it persisting for a long period of time. Let us see what are the symptoms of allergy. Sneezing, watery eyes, running nose, difficulty in breathing, these would be the symptoms of allergy. What could be the treatment? So treatment will be the use of drugs that are against histamine. So antihistamines, adrenaline, steroids, instantly they are administered because the person's, they might choke, they might, like have a constricted windpipe and they might die because of the lack of oxygen. They'll turn red and then they'll turn blue. So instantly antihistamines are given, adrenaline are given, injected into the body so that it would work quickly. So allergy is clear to you people? Yes or no? Malva, is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh. Now the next disorder of the immune system is autoimmunity. Now autoimmunity is that process wherein, like, see, normally you know that our immune system is made in such a way that if, let's just say, a pathogen would enter our body, our immune system will understand that, okay, a pathogen has entered and now I'm supposed to attack the pathogen and save the body cells. That's what it does. But under the autoimmunity disorder, the body doesn't do this. The body doesn't understand which one is a foreign cell, which one is a self cell. So here, the immune system starts attacking the body cells only. Imagine, immune system attacked so good, and now it's attacking our own body cells. So some of the disorders that are autoimmune in nature, auto means cells, right? So this is like the immunity that is acting against the self cells. Myasthenia gravis, Addison's disease, ulcerative colitis, and rheumatoid arthritis. Not all arthritis. Rheumatoid arthritis is autoimmune in nature. Okay, so these diseases you must remember because they can directly be asked in the exam. In MCQ, rheumatoid arthritis is the most important. It is given in your book also, but these one I've put extra because many a times in MCQs they'll give you 4 disorders. Obviously, 3 of them, or you can say many of them, they'll ask which of them is not an autoimmune. So they'll give you 3 of the autoimmune disorders. So you should know which one is and which one isn't. So the names of the autoimmune disorders are very, very important. Any doubts up until now, students? So up until now, okay. Up until now, we have seen the types of immunity, active and passive. Under that, we have seen natural immunity, artificial immunity, right? Under that only. Then we saw vaccination, the whole entire concept about the types of vaccination. And we have seen the disorders of the immune system, wherein we saw about allergy, how is it caused, why it happens, how to treat it, what are the symptoms. And we also saw the autoimmunity. So any doubts up until now, students? No doubts? All right, so now you people note down. Then we'll start with the next topic. Done till here, students? Students, are you done? Shall I scroll down? Okay. All of you are just chatting away, huh? No one wants to speak. Also remember, students, that the difference between artificial and passive immunity, or the active passive immunity, can easily be asked in the question, like exams. Okay, so when you are studying this, pay attention to this particular type, because sometimes they can confuse you and ask you very tricky questions from this. So all you have to do is keep your concepts really, really nice and clear. Okay. Done, students? Shall I scroll down? Yes, is everyone done till here? Everyone's done till here. Shall I scroll down? Done till here, students? All right, students, we'll keep it till here only for today's class and we'll continue in the next class, okay?